to Backstage Behind the Brand. I'm your host, Angela Carr Patterson, and I'm so delighted to have you join us today. Backstage Behind the Brand is a new online series where I get up close and personal with some of the world's most powerful change makers, influencers, thought leaders, and business gurus as they share stories of triumph, pain, and the courage to succeed against the odds. Through soulful conversations, we're going backstage behind the brand and pull back the curtain to give you an inside peek into the lives of some of the most powerful brands in today's world. So on today's show, we have a very special guest, a personal longtime friend of mine, and her name is Vicky Free. Allow me to share with you her bio. And once I'm done, you're going to meet the woman behind the brand. Vicky Free is a proven expert in brand strategy, digital media, integrated marketing, branded content, consumer insights, and business analytics across various consumer-centered industries. She is the Senior Vice President of Global Brand Marketing for Adidas based in Germany. In this role, Vicky has the global responsibility to lead and steer Adidas commercial and brand success through developing and delivering compelling, purpose-driven consumer brand stories. With more than 20 years of B2B and B2C experience, Vicky has developed innovative and result-driving campaigns for best-in-class global brands such as Disney, ABC Home Entertainment and Television, Viacom's BET Networks, and Turner Entertainment Networks. A native of Spartanburg, South Carolina, Free holds an executive MBA from the Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University and a bachelor's degree in mass communication from the University of South Carolina. She's been recognized by various media publications and organizations for her executive leadership and marketing expertise. As a champion for diversity and inclusion, Vicky has played key roles in establishing and advocating business resource groups as valuable growth engines for business strategies. Vicky and her husband, Christopher, are the proud parents of Simba, a four-legged, sweet-spirited fur baby. Join us as we pull back the curtains and go behind the brand of Vicky Free Sistrunk. Hello, lady. How are you?
Hi, Angela. Thank you for having me.
Being transparent, I want you to know that I've been knowing Vicky for a long time, ever since she was a student at USC, at University of South Carolina. And the thing about Vicky, it doesn't matter where she is in the world, how big she's become, what her accomplishments have been, she always takes my phone call. And that means a lot because y'all know I have issues with not acknowledging my phone calls, but Vicky always said that's a core issue for me. So she returns my phone calls always, and I am so grateful for that. I am so delighted to sit here and talk with you, Vicky, about the woman behind the brand. And most people know you and they see you in your work environment. They see you there. But those of us who know you most know that there are some things that are just dear to your heart. And I want my audience to understand who you are. And let's talk about your career first, because I know everybody, especially I want my granddaughter, Aubrey, who's be 18 this year. I want her to see the interview. And she's been wanting to be a veterinarian ever since she was 8, and she still has that same dream. So I want her to know that you can succeed with your dreams. So did you always know that marketing was the path for you? Did you always know?
So that's an awesome question. But before I jump into my story, I have to pause and say thank you to you.
Thank you. Well,
it would not be right with my soul to not return your call. And if you're watching this video and you have a relationship with Angela Carr Patterson, you know that she's a giver. And from the day I met Angela, and still yet today, 20 years, maybe even 30 years later, you have poured into my spirit.
Wow.
You pour into the spirit of anyone that you meet. And anything that I've accomplished in my life, your fingerprints are on it.
Wow.
And so with this audience, I want to say thank you. And until I take my last breath, I will always take your call and will always be connected to you.
Oh, don't make
So
me
I have to start there. And somehow I feel like I'm going to end up crying.
No, yeah, we
This
are.
is cellular, this
Yeah,
conversation.
it is.
And when you asked me to have it, I knew that we would have to drop all guards and barriers. I know what you seek. You seek a genuine conversation.
Yes.
And it isn't always pretty.
Yeah.
But it is always perfect because it's in God's will.
Absolutely.
So did I know from day one that I wanted to be a marketer? No, I didn't. I knew I wanted to communicate. In fact, I thought I would be the next Katie Couric.
Really? Okay.
She was my inspiration in many ways. I found her to be on NBC, the Today Show, and I watched her and I watched the way she interacted, and she always had a genuine command of information, but she always infused it with fun and care, and I felt like she was my friend. And I thought, if I can be a journalist that can literally penetrate this screen and connect with people, I would be fulfilled. I always thought I wanted to be a storyteller. And growing up, actually, I grew up in Boiling Springs, South Carolina, small town. When I grew up there, one red light. And I'm the youngest of 6. And I never felt like our story or my family's story and my people's stories were ever really told with care, with dimension, with nuance. And so for me, journalism was an opportunity for me to shine a light on what I knew about the African-American community I came from. And so that was the direction. What I know now is my passion for communications is at the root of marketing. You know, at the simplest level, marketing is about creating an invitation. It's really all it is. I'm asking you to do something, to take some action, to buy something, to try something, to prefer something. The more I know about you, the more customized and personalized my invitation can be to get you to do those things I want you to do. It's not just about knowing you, though. I have to genuinely care about you. I have to know what inspires you. I have to know what fears you have. I have to know what challenges you're facing in your day-to-day life. I have to know what dreams you have. Now, I'm making it very simple, but at the end of the day, it is that simple. And even here at Adidas, we have 60,000 employees. We have a footprint all over the world. I have 2,500 employees on my team alone. Wow. We are a 25 billion euro business. Wow. But at the end of the day, my job is to inspire you, the consumer, to prefer the 3 stripes. I tell my team all the time, we don't sell t-shirts, hoodies, and sneakers. We sell dreams and aspirations. When you wear the 3 stripes, you're telling the world something about yourself. If we only sell t-shirts, sneakers, and sweatshirts, we are a commodity business. We are a brand. And when you have a valuable brand, consumers, humans, will pay for it. Think about the brands you love, and then think about why you love them. It's usually because that brand, when you buy it, when you choose it, it says something about how you want to be seen in the world. It helps you fit into the world and stand out. And so that's what marketing is, and that's how I connect it back to my journalistic roots.
That is storytelling. It is. At the root of it, it is. That is, and it's about caring about people. It's really about illuminating, not selling, but illuminating.
Exactly. And making those connections.
Making those connections. And that's something you do well. I mean, you've always connected, you know, so it was a perfect fit. It was the perfect fit. It was a perfect fit. That is so good. So what do you feel has been one of your greatest regrets when it came to your career?
Well, I didn't become Katie Kirk, right? In the back of my mind, I still have that dream.
Okay.
Regret is a difficult concept for me. I have to be honest with you. I try to live my life without regrets. Now I'm human, but I say that because I really do believe that everything happens according to God's will, right? So my path was charted and mapped long before I was an egg in the womb. So what is there to regret? I do sometimes look back and say, what if? Right? What if I stayed on my focus to be a journalist? Where would I be now? Right? I don't know. I believe in abundance, right? So I don't believe that it is, that life is binary, meaning if I didn't do this, the opposite of this is negative. I actually believe that I am highly blessed. I know that I'm not the smartest person in the room. I'm not the most creative person in the room. I'm not the most credentialed person in the room every day. And so the only thing that can explain the success that I've been able to achieve thus far is grace and mercy. And so I don't have regret because I think this is the plan. But I do sometimes ask myself, what if? And that's part of dreaming, right? About what's next.
It is part of dreaming. That's awesome. Yeah, I wanted to ask you that question because I knew you were going to say that, I knew because, I have no regrets either. I do have some what ifs, but absolutely no regrets because the plan has been designed. The blueprint was already made. We're just reading the blueprint. We're the builders. God is the architect. Okay. So we're the builders and we're supposed to build according to the blueprint. So that's awesome. So what do you feel has been your greatest accomplishment thus far in your career?
Oh gosh, that's such a great question. I'll answer it two ways. I'm not sure I've had it yet.
Oh wow, really?
So I want to say that.
That's good.
But the thing that, the old saying, if I shut my eyes tomorrow, I can rest well. And let me tell you why that is. I grew up, I didn't know we were poor until I went to college. Now this is fascinating because I had all of my needs and most of my wants. This was pre-social media, pre all of that. And the reality is I grew up feeling rich. And to this day, I think my mother is magic. I'd go to the refrigerator and be like, there's nothing in here to eat. And she'd make a meal for 10.
Wow.
Why 10? There were 6 kids, she and my dad, and she always made enough just in case somebody dropped by.
Wow.
Or I had to take a plate to somebody in the neighborhood because they weren't feeling well. We weren't sure if they had enough food. So that's the world I grew up in. And she had pictures of us all around the house and she'd say, this is my art. So I didn't know I was poor. I didn't know we were poor. Now my siblings, there's 6 years between me and my closest sibling, and they say we knew we were poor, but I was the youngest, right? So I had a different experience 6 years in between. That means when I became a teenager, I was an only child. My closest sibling was in college and my oldest sibling had gone away to the military and back, right? So I had a really interesting youngest of 6 and only child, which meant I got most of my wants and I had all my needs.
Right.
I went to school and realized that, man, we was poor. I didn't even know people were going on ski vacations and we were going to Myrtle Beach, right? I didn't know, but sometimes not knowing is good because you don't start to judge your experience. So I felt a degree of privilege, right? And so I carry that with me because of where I came from. To your question, my greatest accomplishment is when my dad died, he had to be brought, this always makes me tear up, so I'm gonna try to keep together. He had to be brought home. And his hospital bed couldn't fit between the doors because the house was small. The doorways were small. So they had to set him up in the living room. Now it was a small house. So when you walk through the front door, there he was.
There he is.
And just think about your dignity when you're not feeling strong or your best. And people out of the goodness of their hearts want to come see how you're doing. And you have no protection.
Right. No.
And I saw what that did to him. And I said, Lord, if it's your will, if you allow me to be successful enough, I'll make sure my mother never has this experience.
Wow.
So in my dad passed away in 2012. It was like a year and a half later, we convinced my mother to move. And we went shopping for houses. I had banked up bonus checks. And I said, I'm going to buy you a house.
Wow.
That's going to be ADA certified for the time when you need a walker or a wheelchair. So we won't have these issues. She didn't want to move because we grew up in this house.
Yeah.
But she didn't like anything. Every house was how she didn't like. She didn't like, I don't like it. I don't like this. Now the house we grew up in didn't have none of the stuff that she didn't like, but she didn't like it. And we drove back home after being with a realtor, a back way, and we saw them breaking ground on a new neighborhood half a mile from where we grew up.
Oh, wow.
And we stopped and I met the builder and she said, this is it. And they hadn't even poured the foundation.
Wow.
And we prayed over that land. And we watched, and she got to select every detail for this house. And we built it, and we ended up getting in the house right before Christmas. 2 years later. And so for me, my success is connected to how I can lift others. It's really important to me. And so for me, one of my greatest dreams is to make sure my mother is more comfortable and happier and has all of her needs and wants in her later life that she didn't have in her former life. So that's why today, for me, that's my greatest accomplishment.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then she got to stay near her same neighborhood.
Same grocery store, same pharmacy, same drive to her church. People in the neighborhood know exactly where she is. We built and bought the first house in this neighborhood. They all know her. Nothing changed, but half a mile difference.
Absolutely. That was awesome. That was God. That was God. That is so awesome. So I now understand why your career has been so successful, because it's not just you. And I watch you. You're taking people with you. You know, your experiences, you help make it their experiences. And that's what success is all about. I saw Oprah do that. I don't know her personally, but she gets excited for somebody else's win more than she does for herself. And that's what you do. And that's why you are been given so much. To whom much is given, much is required. And you have to, and you have to be able to, there's an amount of responsibility and accountability that goes with success, that only those that understand that can sustain their success. You know, we see people come and go with success up and down, because they don't understand their role. For you have been called to the service of wealth, or the service of success. And that's what it is. And that's what I see you've done with your career. So let's move into one of your favorite topics, which is family. You know, you come from a big family. Oh, I wish I had a big family. and like you, I'm the baby of 3 boys, and there was 10 years between me and the one that's next to me.
You know.
And so I know, yeah. And they said we were poor, and you know, of course I didn't know. So
sorry, excuse me.
That's okay. So why is family so important to you? Because I don't care where you've gone, what you've done, family is always included there. And you've always been like that. So who taught you? Where did you learn that from?
My parents.
Mm-hmm.
It is, I talk to young people about know what's in your soil.
Mm-hmm.
I know what's in my soil. In the best of times and in the worst of times, my family has been there for me. I mean, some of my earliest memories are of me barely able to walk, running towards a group of people with their arms out towards me, and me trying to determine who do I go to.
Oh, wow.
Now, just imagine that. Like, if that's where you come from, you enter a room with that. Now, of course, I suffer from imposter syndrome, right? We all do. Of course, I am at tables where I feel invited but not welcome every day. But when I can quiet myself and go back to what I know for sure, my family is a forceful power in my life. And I consider that a hedge of protection. I can count on it. In fact, when you lose a parent, it can shake a family and it can change a family. And my daddy, oh Lord, Joe Free Jr. was a character. He was a bright light in a lot of ways, but he had a lot of dark. He was dark in some ways too. So it ain't all perfect. But when we lost him and he passed away, it shook our family. It changed the air between us, right? And death brings up the good and the bad, and it changes things. And if you're not careful, you lose your connection because you want to talk about it, but you don't want to bring everybody to tears again. So you just start, tiptoeing around. And so when my dad died, holidays were hard. Like his presence, the absence of his presence was so loud. It changed things. And so me being the youngest and always the one trying to fix it all, which by the way, none of us can fix anybody or anything. I'm learning that, but it's still my nature. We started going away. So I was like, well, maybe if we start taking trips together, because we don't visit the way we used to as a community. Like
every day.
First of all, nobody drops by unannounced anymore.
Right.
Even family, right?
Yeah.
Everything's planned. And so we started going away and creating memories in honor of my dad. And that had sort of put our family back on track. And it also started to intentionally model what we want the next generation and the next generation to commit to and connect with. And we have a hashtag. Any post that you see from me on social media will typically end with hashtag family first. That's our rule. In good times and bad times, in choices, always put your family first. And for us, if you're in the family, you're never out of the family.
Right.
I have siblings who've been divorced. We have, it's a little tricky for my nieces and nephews, girlfriends and boyfriends, but they just stay connected because once you're in the family, you're in the family. And so it's part of just who I am. They give me my greatest joy and sometimes my greatest pain, right? Sometimes my greatest pain, but I mean, today I have, for the last week plus, my niece and one of her friends have been here in Germany with me. They leave tomorrow. My other nephew in New York arrives in about an hour.
Wow.
My niece and her husband are planning to be here next month. I mean, there's a lot of us, and we like a revolving door family visiting. It helps us stay connected.
That's so awesome. And I remember when my mother passed, you told me, you shared with me how you felt when your dad, and so you gave language to what I was feeling. You said the world tilted and it didn't tilt back. And I was like, yes. And I'm trying to walk upright in a tilted world. And so when I share that with people, they're like, that's it. That's exactly how I felt. And so so I do understand.
Girl, I had to go all the way to Bali.
Really?
By
Wow.
myself to get there. I was such in a cloud of indecision and darkness and trying to reconcile my relationship with my dad, what I was able to say and what I wasn't able to say, what good things I took from him and what bad things, and what did that say about me? I had to go all the way to Bali to get there. And I'll never forget the morning I woke up, no TV, no cell phone service, in a rainforest where every morning at 4 a.m., I'm going to get this wrong, but the monks would start chanting. And then another religion would start making music. Every morning, it just would send something through my body. And I would get up dark in the rainforest, Black woman by myself, and just walk and cry and holler. Holler. I mean, not scream, holler. I howled. And I remember thinking, I'm trying to walk upright and my earth has shifted. I got to learn to walk. I got to learn to walk on this tilted earth. It's not going to tilt back.
No, it's not.
It's not going to tilt back, but I can learn to walk here. I just have to focus and not beat myself up because the earth is tilted.
Yeah.
And I share that with people who've lost a parent because it's the only way to describe it.
It is.
You don't know until you know.
You don't know. You don't know until you know. You really don't know. And you can't prepare for it. You can't. And nothing is the same anymore, and neither am I. Never. That was what
and that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
And that's okay. I had to get there.
It's okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's talk about friendship. I know you have lots of friends, and you're very good with maintaining and nurturing your friendships. What has been your longest friendship with someone? I know with me, Erica and I have been friends for 53 years. I think that's my longest friendship. What is
so? Erica is my baby. We grew up calling her baby. Her name is Sarah. Sarah was born July 2nd, and I was born July 8th.
Wow.
Her mom and my mom, we lived right beside each other in that small house I was telling you about in Boiling Springs, South Carolina. And we are still friends today.
Wow. That's
she
awesome.
lives in Connecticut. I live in Germany. She has a new grandbaby.
Wow.
She and her husband are planning to visit. So she's my longest standing friend. Now our relationship has changed, right? She's not my best friend anymore. Right. She doesn't know Vicky.
The adult Vicky, yeah.
The adult Vicky. But she knows what Vicky's made of. And when she came to visit me, I was living in California. In fact, she was the first friend to meet Christopher, my husband. And she was like, I know you. He's good for you.
Wow.
And that affirmation it was sobering because I felt it in my core, but I felt it early. I think it was 3 months into dating him. I was fighting myself. Wow. And I had told my best girlfriend, who I'll tell you about in a moment, that I think he's the one. And she was like, girl, you just met him. And I was like, I know, but I think he's the one. So that's Zenith, who I met the first week of college. And here's the funny thing, girl, we both were cheerleaders in high school, and we were trying out for the USC cheerleading team. And they told us that they told her she needed to lose 30 pounds and I needed to lose 10 pounds because we did not meet the weight requirements, and we were heartbroken. Now I didn't know her, but we ended up walking back from that tryout together. And girl, if you know anything about South Carolina, we went straight to Lizard's Thicket. So clearly, and we became best friends from that day. Wow. And then my second best friend is Melissa Jeter, and we went to high school together. We met in 8th grade. And I talked to her earlier today, and we've just been inseparable since that. So I do believe in friendships. You know, my mother didn't have a lot of girlfriends.
Really?
My dad was the social butterfly.
Okay.
So most of her friends were the wives of my dad's friends.
Your dad's friends.
So
Okay.
my mom had a reasonably big family too. And honestly, she probably won't appreciate me sharing this, but she never thought having a lot of women friends was a good idea as a married woman. And so she's always, she always is like,
yeah.
so she's always a little side eye about having too many women friends. But I believe, my girlfriends and I mean, we are a tribe.
Yeah,
we celebrate each other. We get excited about each other's success. We support each other. I wouldn't have it. And all my close friends know each other. You ever know people who have a pocket of friends?
Separate, yes.
And a pocket of friends?
Yeah.
They all know my family.
Yeah.
They're all connected to my family. I know their family, because if I don't know your mama, we're not friends. That's just the way. If I don't know your mama, we know each other and we cool,
friends,
but we're not friends. I got to know the people. That's really important to me.
Yeah. And I'm like that. If my children don't know about you,
girl,
we ain't friends. We know each other.
You're friendly.
Friendly. Yeah. They're staying.
We are not friends.
We're not friends. Right.
Yes.
So let me ask you this with friendship. Have you ever ran into, and it may not be with your best friends, but have you ever ran into the, I don't like using the word jealousy, but the
opportunistic friends.
That and they're there for the cause and not for you. You know what I'm saying? They're down with the cause, down with who you are, what you are, not the who you are. And it's almost like a little bit of competitiveness. And have you ever felt that? And how did you deal with that?
I've been fortunate. I haven't had a lot of that in my life, or either I haven't given it attention.
Okay.
So, but I had one instance. And my Achilles heel, if you will, is I am either all in or out. Like, I don't know how to put my toe in stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm either all in or out. And I had this friend. I was in New York and I was single. I worked for an entertainment brand. I'm trying to keep it vague. And so I had, if there was an event in town, I not only was at the event, I was in the VIP section of the event, right? That was the job I had. And I didn't want to go to these things by myself. So she was my person to go with me. I took her everywhere. And I wanted to, by the way. And she was great. She knew she could work the room. I didn't have to, babysit her. She was great. And we became great friends, I thought. And, here's the reality. I have a wonderful life. I live a very privileged life, but at any moment I got a cousin calling asking for $20.
Yeah.
That's the dichotomy of my life. And that was her life, right, too. We used to laugh about it, right? We're at this event and my cousin's texting me saying, can you help me pay this light bill? That is the truth. That's the reality. And so when her family would come visit, I do for her family what I do for my family. And I had a 2-bedroom apartment in New York. She had a 1-bedroom. So I'd say, here, take my key. They can take the extra bedroom. Oh, your nephew's in town. He's interested in entertainment. I'm gonna take him to work with me. Wow. Oh, you got to work. I'll take him to dinner. Don't worry about it. That's just me. That's just, again, I'm a giver and I'm all in. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because, she wanted to get into entertainment. I helped her use contacts. When I decided to leave that job, it was a very tough decision. It's a high profile role. I knew it was going to look like I was fired. It's going to look bad. I was emotionally distraught. And when she knew everybody I worked with. I had invited her into my world.
Into your world.
And I trusted her. And when I didn't have that job,
wow. Yeah.
The funny thing is my close friends had been warning me. about her. They were like, there's something, I'm not sure. I just couldn't see it. I didn't want to see it because I didn't want to believe it.
And you enjoyed your time with her. You
I did.
liked her.
I
I
liked
get
her.
that. I get that.
I
Yeah.
am still heartbroken.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm still heartbroken.
Yeah.
Like it hurts me.
Yeah.
And her family are still my friends on social media.
Wow. Wow.
And
wow.
but she disappeared.
Yeah.
And when I did have one conversation with her, and she was like, well, I just felt like you needed your space.
Wow. Okay.
And I said, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That when you're on that road to success, or your life changes, your zip code changes, the places you go changes. That means you change. You just evolve. You just have evolved. I mean, you want to evolve and transform. These things create a growth in you, an expansion in you. You haven't changed, just your zip code change, and those kind of things. But you at the core is still that girl from Boiling Springs who values friendship and family and God. And so one of the things I've learned is how to put people in certain categories, because there were times that I thought we were friends, but we weren't friends. We were just colleagues. It was my fault because I assumed we were friends, but you knew we were colleagues. And so that's what, get clear. I guess it's about,
you have to be clear. I have had to move friends. I believe I have friendship rings. I have my inner ring. That these are the people I've decided to do life with.
Right.
There's no getting out of this.
Yeah.
We are in it.
Yeah.
And then you have the next ring. And then you have the next ring.
That's a good one.
Now, over my life, I've had to move. I've moved some people in.
Yeah.
And I've moved some people out.
That's so good. That's so good.
I've moved some people in. I've moved some people out. I had a friend once who said, don't you have enough friends? I mean, can it just be us? Like, I'm sick of you bringing new people into the fold. And I was so like, huh? I said, because in my heart of hearts, I'm going to always be open to new people to really connect with and do life with. And my grandmother used to say, everything done in the dark shall come to light.
That's what my mom said.
And so with friends, I give a lot and I expect a lot. And you watch and you pay attention and you be open. But then when you start to see behavior that doesn't mirror what genuinely you're giving out, then you start to move. And it's okay. It's no hate, right? It's all
assemble them in the right categories.
But everybody is not in the center.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's good. That's good. And that's good for any, especially young women who are listening. Aubrey, that's for you. For any young woman that is listening, it's not that you're discarding them. You're just moving them in different categories, different levels in the circle. Yes. And so that's so good. That's so good. That way you're not turning your back on anyone.
No.
You just know that you don't belong here. I'm going to put you here. And so when you're clear, then you know what corresponding actions to take. And that's good. That's good. Awesome. So we're going to love. We're going to talk about love. And I know we're running out of time, so let me hurry. You got married last year. And you did it later in life. That's single, that seasoned. You were seasoned and single. And so tell us, why was Christopher the one? Why? I mean, and I know you've dated. You,
girl.
And I know you've had.
I am a professional dater. I have meddled in dating. Okay.
So why?
Girl, I have done it all.
Why was
blind dates and all?
Blind dates, everything, huh? So why was Christopher the one?
I believe God has had his hands all in it. So that's the first thing. I'm a strong personality. Some would say I'm a force of nature. It takes a very grounded man to land this plane.
Wow, that's
and I grew up with two strong big brothers who always treated me like there's just an aura of specialness around me. So I have, and you know what that feels like. And Chris has the perfect balance of you're my angel and girl, get real. He's got both. He's like, okay, you're my angel and I absolutely adore you, but you own one right now. I need that, right?
Call you on your stuff when you need to be called.
Call me on my stuff and love me through it.
Love you through it, yeah. Yeah.
And so he's been that soft place to land. And I knew it. I knew it so early. Now I'm making sure he's not in here. He's not. Okay. So when we first met through a mutual friend, our first date was at church. We went to church on Easter. That was our first date. And I cooked dinner for him. And he put together a standing hair dryer for me. Now that's really important because when you cook for someone, it's cellular, right? You're nourishing them. And when you fix things for a woman, that is the most sexy thing in the world.
A hair dryer.
Girl, a standing hair dryer, because I had gone natural and I needed this, and I couldn't, like the one they have at the salon. So I'd ordered it and it was in the middle of the living room and he was like, oh, I'll put this together for you. And he came over with a toolbox, girl. I was like, oh my God.
Y'all were like a married couple right there.
Already. And so we had 3 dates. And we were having a conversation. I was in LA. And he said, I got to tell you something. And my heart dropped to my stomach. I knew he was getting ready to say something crazy that was just going to derail this thing. And he said, I've kind of been seeing someone and I've been trying to break it off, but I wasn't dating anybody else. And so I just want you to know, because I really like you. And I was like, you know what? You stop it right there. You have a decision to make. Do not call me until you have resolved that situation. If I don't hear from you, then you've made a choice and I'm okay with that. And he was like, I was trying to explain. I said, I don't need to hear anything else because that ain't my business. You need to fix that. If you want to fix it.
Yeah. So
we hang up the conversation. Of course, I call my girlfriend. Oh my God. So they're like, well, I can't believe he told you. He could have just resolved it. Or 3 weeks later, he could have not told you. So this could be good. I was like, no. A week later, he called me. He had just landed in Chicago. Yeah, because we were in LA. He had just landed in Chicago. He said, you told me not to call you until it was done. I'm calling you. I'm in the airport because I wanted to look her in the eye and let her know it's over. I've met someone. He said, it's over.
Wow.
I was like, okay.
He handled his business. Like my mom said, he's like, my mom says, if he's not married, he's a much right man. He's just as much right yours as he is hers. May the best woman win.
May the best woman win. I love that. And I remember your mother. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I remember just her. She was royalty.
Yeah, she was. She really was. Royalty. Well, I am so excited for you. So what has marriage taught you about yourself that you didn't know?
I have buried a lot of hurt. And that hurt shows up as anger and control and resistance when I don't need to resist. It's just been fascinating what that has revealed to me. It has revealed that I've spent my life running towards something. I don't know whatever's next. And now I just want to cocoon and hug up and love up on my man on the couch. And I don't want nobody to enter that moment. So and for me, my life was outside.
Yeah.
And
so
now,
wow, that's awesome. You learn how to surrender to the moment.
Oh, girl.
And not miss the moment. And not miss
because the moment is right now. Right now.
That is
bad breath and hair that ain't been brushed.
That's so
And you
awesome.
just want to snuggle up and just smell it all. I love it. I would never have thought, but I was designed for this.
Wow,
And
really?
I didn't think I would. There is a song by Snow Allegra. If you don't know this song, it's Someone Like You. That was our wedding song that we danced to at the reception. And the theme of our wedding was Worth the Wait, because I wanted this, but it was always out of reach for me. Just not the right guy, not the right time, not the right values, not the right family foundation, not the right. And then I meet Chris and I'm looking for what's wrong. I'm searching because that's my nature, right? And I couldn't find it. I was like, okay, God, okay, you got jokes, because we met in California. I'm from South Carolina. He's from Charlotte. And in the words of his mom, he was like, my son went all the way to LA to meet a girl from down the street.
Isn't that amazing?
God got jokes.
God got jokes. And so in a nutshell, your heart found a home.
My heart found a home. Now he drives me crazy and I drive him crazy. You know, all of that. But we are connected and it's divine.
That's good. That's good.
Lovely.
I understand that. I understand.
Sit down for this conversation with you. He was in here watching something and I was cooking and I was like, babe, I got a hand up. And he's like, okay, what I need to do. So he's finishing dinner and it was not a second thought. So we really complement each other in a beautiful way. I have to say, I am honored to be his wife.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I had a girlfriend, she's been married. She'll be married 39 years in May. And she told me the other day, she said, Angela, she said, marrying Tyrone has been the single best decision of my entire life. I said, 39 years later, she said, he's just a wonderful human being, great husband and father. She said, but that is the best decision that I've ever made in my life. And I thought, wow, that's awesome. 39 years.
That's what you want, right?
That's what you want.
That's what you want.
So Vicky, we're going to run real fast because I know we're running out of time. Vicky, the woman. Okay, I'm going to ask you to finish the sentence. If I listened to what my heart has been trying to tell me, I would what? If I listened to what my heart has been trying to tell me, I would what?
Come home. Right now, I'd come home.
You come home. Okay. I am happy when I am
rested.
Oh, good. I am grateful for
grace and mercy.
My favorite food.
Ooh, favorite food. Ooh, there's so much I like. So there's two things I absolutely love. I love good, fresh baked bread, from cornbread to sourdough.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
And then I love broccolini, and I can't get it here in Germany.
Really?
Broccolini, not broccoli. I can eat it. But broccolini is my thing.
What is broccoli?
Girl, go to the grocery store and get you some of that.
Okay.
A little olive oil and red pepper flakes and garlic. Yum.
Okay. Your favorite book?
The Bluest Eye.
The Blue. Okay, yeah, it's a good one. What has been your single biggest challenge, pain, or frustration in life? Your single
feeling worthy.
Ooh. And people mistake that because you're so accomplished that you don't struggle with that.
It's very human.
Very human.
Feeling worthy.
Good. Thank you for your honesty. So, and I heard you say this earlier, but I'm going to have, if my life was over tomorrow, would I feel fulfilled with how I've lived my life and what I've accomplished? Why and why not?
Yes, especially now, because I surrendered to love. And I know that I have honored my mother in the way that I've always dreamed.
Wow. So good. So good. So good. So when you lie down at night, your soul is at rest.
My soul can rest.
That's so powerful.
And it's powerful. It's actually, Angela, a great reminder. I needed to hear that. You know, because this, you know, I have a stressful job. The war is 664 miles away from where I am right now as a Black woman. And all of our Twitter feeds or Instagram feeds are full of the human tragedy that's happening. I moved here in the middle of COVID. But even in the midst of all of that, it's nice to be reminded that my foundation is solid. And I can go home.
And you can.
So I needed to be reminded of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Vicky, this has been great. This has been an honor to share this space with you. And I want to thank you for your authenticity, your honesty, your as a matter of fact. And you know, you and I could talk forever.
We could. I think we're going to need a part two.
We're going to need a part two because you share some things that I know the women and men in my audience need to hear. I mean, even just in the first thing about marketing for the entrepreneurs, that was some real nuggets. I hope you guys heard that, because she gave you something that, you know, you can't pay for it. I mean, you got to take a master class with her to get that. So that's just powerful. But I'm so happy for you. I'm happy for our time together. And I want to thank you for being here. Thank my audience, my listening audience, for joining us for Backstage Behind the Brand. I hope you enjoyed my beautiful and amazing guest as she shared her heart secrets, those lessons she's learned from the stories she dared to share. And until next time, I want you to remember to live authentically, to laugh every day, and embrace love as a lifestyle, because success in life, it really does begin with love. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, everybody.